Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Yvonne from Ginger Chick Rehab. I'm so glad to have you back today. And if you're new here and visiting my channel for the first time, welcome. I do lots of DIYs, trash to treasure, furniture flips with my husband Chris, and thrifting adventures to fit into the farmhouse decor. In today's video, this is usually something that I do. I take thrifted items and I make decor risers out of them. But if you follow along on our channel, or if you're new here, we had a out-of-town business come 2 weeks in a row and buy our entire retail booth out. So we are really trying to build our inventory, our stock back up. So as I'm working on large groupings of stuff, my husband Chris is also helping out working on large items, also like large groupings. So I had a pile of stuff that I wanted to make risers, but I was still working on the 10 windows from the previous video. So he was so kind to, usually he makes risers, but he doesn't make risers out of thrifted items. So bless his heart for stepping in and helping us make decor risers out of thrifted items. So this is what today's video is all about, is how I take pieces and parts of thrifted items and make them into decor risers.
So here's some of the trays that are going to get painted up and some of the items that are going to be glued together or stapled together or nailed together or what have you to make risers. I just love the texture on this tray that I picked up for $1.09 at Goodwill. And then the base was a new item for $4.99, but I love the two metals together, and I actually didn't even buy these at the same time. Sometimes when I'm in the wood item, I just run across little bowls like this or little pieces, you know, trays, wooden trays or cutting boards, you know, or these random candlesticks that don't really go with too much else. But I just absolutely think it's perfect to put them together to make a riser. Along with this little, you know, there's not much you can do with this little, you know, it is a coat rack, but you can't hang too much on it, not a lot of character, but why not use those pegs as feet for this round cutting board piece? So to use these pegs as feet, all Chris needs to do is just get them unscrewed from the piece of board that they're attached to right now. So his glue of choice for this project is some Titebond. It's a great wood-to-wood bond. It's very permanent. And so what he's doing is just getting them glued in place, and then he'll set it off to the side and let glue do what glue does and bond those two woods together. And these will have to dry overnight to get that nice and good bond. And the same thing with this little cutting board, you know, and that's just a little candlestick also. You know, it's just these random wood pieces that when you're out thrifting, you think there's no use for them. But these are the perfect pieces that, you know, to make a riser. And for the ones that he is putting a couple little brad nails just to make a little bit extra security so that these two pieces don't come apart. So like this one, I looked at the base of this candlestick and I thought, wow, I can put a round item on the top of this and make it a riser, because there's just plenty of base to make sure that this is not a tippy. You know, when I'm looking at this, I'm also looking to make sure that the two items we're putting together, you know, one doesn't kind of outweigh the other, and that they're just structurally sound, that it's not going to tip over when somebody's using it. Especially when you're just trying to do the one base. When you're doing the 4 pegs or the 3 pegs, you know, it's not, you know, that's a little bit more of a level, you know, but when you're doing the one base, you definitely want to make sure that the bottom base can support the weight that you're putting on the top of it. So as you see here, this is usually a project that I do, like I said, and he had me write down what my color I thought that they should look like, so he knew what to paint them. His usual of making risers is actually making risers out of, you know, right from scratch. My making risers is taking thrifted items. So he just had me jot down what I thought these colors would be the best. So for the items that he's going to do black, and a lot of these items are shiny or they're metal or they're that resin material, you know, like they don't soak in the paint like if we would just use the flat onyx that we like. So that's why he's spray painting this. This just gives the best permanent paint job, I feel, on these resin pieces, especially on the metal. So he's using the Rust-Oleum paint and primer in one in the flat black, and then he will be doing the bottoms. As you see, he's kind of like me. We like to start off at that bottom first, get the most coverage, and then flip it over and finish what's left over. So on these items that are real wood, and he's just going to use that ready to use black onyx and flat. The wood items just soak in the paint, so there's no sense. Spray paint does not work the same on wood as it does on those resin and those metal pieces, so he needs to brush these pieces. So for these pieces, we kind of realized that it's kind of a waste to be painting the entire piece black since we're only distressing, you know, certain areas. So that is what Chris is doing. He's just painting the areas black with a couple coats, just the areas where we're going to be distressing these items. And I'm not going to say this is not cheating. This is just, you know, saving yourself time and saving yourself product. Because really, when you're doing the smooth on the rest of it, you're never really getting down to the black. So like I said, it's just saving your resources. Now he's on to the Kills paint and primer in flat white. But he will be painting the entire items with this paint. It'll take 3 to 4 coats to cover, as we like to do thin coats, which saves us, you know, the hard work of sanding it off to make it smooth and sanding it for distress. So to seal in that black spray paint that he put on the resin items and on the metal items, he is just using the Polycrylic in matte. And what this does, it's like a top coat and it seals this paint in. That way, you know, a lot of times flat black will act like a chalk paint. You mean if you touch something against it, you'll see fingerprints or another white item. Since we do paint lots of things white, we don't want it to leave a chalky residue behind. So just one good coat of this seals this paint right in. So now he's going in with some 150 sandpaper, and what this is going to do is it's going to get through that polycrylic and down past that spray paint and into the wood. So this is how we're distressing these black pieces. And then over the rest of the piece where he doesn't want to distress, he'll just be taking some steel wool, some light grade steel wool, just to take that shine off that the polycrylic left behind. So to get rid of that dullness on that black and to pop the wood, he's just using some Waverly antiquing wax. We absolutely love this stuff. I can't recommend it enough. I know people are having some problems finding it and coming up with other ways. People are very smart. I know some people have used some gel stain and wiped it on and wiped it off, but we absolutely love this stuff on this black. It just richens that black tone and then pops that wood. I can't say enough about this technique. And then you can take a rag to wipe off any excess that hasn't soaked in, just to even it out. Oh my gosh, it's absolutely gorgeous. So for these white items, doing the same thing, but he's using a 220 grit on the side, and there's no polycrylic's a little bit thicker to get through, so you use a harder, lower grit number, which means it's a little bit stronger. So the 220 is a little bit lighter. You're just working paint off, and so you're just pushing hard on those edges where you want, some of that black and some of that natural to show through. And then when you go to smooth the rest of the piece, you just use a light hand just to take any of that feel of a brush stroke off. Now to seal in the paint on these white items, he's just using some Varathane finishing wax. It's pretty much just a wipe on, wipe off a type of wax. Absolutely love this. Can't say enough about this product. Also, it just leaves it so nice and smooth. Not a lot of elbow grease required. So I have to say this is our first time actually doing black risers other than a couple little black trays that we have done. I absolutely love how this metal turned out. It's hard to imagine that this was two separate pieces when I thrifted it. I absolutely think that it is gorgeous. And then for these black trays, I absolutely love how the edge is distressed and how that Waverly wax just takes this black up a notch. It just makes it look so almost primitive and high-end. I absolutely love how these turned out. And as Lazy Susans go, these are just sweet and simple, and that black just made them elegant. And this beat up riser just got new life with a new coat of paint and that black Waverly paint job that we love. They just look so sharp now. And it's almost hard to imagine that this was a red wooden plate and that goldy red color of, I don't know what it was, a bowl, a vase, I'm not really sure, but it made the perfect base for this riser. And I love when I come across random candlesticks, you know, especially if there's just one and there's no pair, because these do absolutely make perfect risers. And then these cutting boards, they just transform into risers so simply. Though this was already like it just needed some updating from that wood tone, that head, all that detail on its base and around. It just absolutely pops now. And will you ever look at a coat rack with pegs ever again without thinking, wow, these could be feet for a wooden base? You know, that's just, you know, they're a little bit too thick, a little bit too something. So it's just nice to come up with feet for a riser. And then even just the simple little candlestick, yeah, it probably can't hold too much, but it is just simple. And I just love simple white trays. They just transform. I'm so excited when I find trays that I know that I can paint up, and just that little simple riser in the front, outdated, it beat up it was. And I can't tell you how excited I am to have now some inventory of some risers.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. And what did you think? When you're out thrifting or garage sailing, or maybe you have items laying around like those candlesticks that you're just like, wow, I never thought about gluing or, you know, attaching two pieces together to make a decor riser. I think they turn out super cute. Or do you have a tray laying around or that you see when you're out thrifting and you just don't like it anymore? It just doesn't fit into your decor. You know, paint is an amazing thing. I know that I paint, or we paint black and white, but there's a whole world of colors out there, and whatever your home decor is, you can paint it up to match that decor. So I thank you again for watching today's video, and don't forget to give me a comment of what your favorite one was, and don't forget to give it a like, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to know when I've uploaded a new video. And if you're part of my YouTube family, that has helped our channel grow. Thank you so much. You know, watching our videos does support our channel a lot, so I appreciate that. And if you're new to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Thanks so much.